Hi, my name is Somi Jacob, and I have the privilege of leading the customer success team at LinkedIn. In the latest LinkedIn Talent Trend Report, 2020 will be all about putting people first. Companies are rethinking their relationship with candidates and employees to not only attract talent, but to retain the existing workforce amidst the increasing expectations. Factors like employee experience, people analytics, multi generational workforce, and internal recruiting are now shaping the future of talent management. Today, I have the pleasure of hosting the keynote conversation with one of the veterans in the industry, Shrikant Arimanitya, who is the global talent leader at EY with over 27 years of experience and is reimagining talent in the industry. Shri, such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Thanks, Swami, for inviting me. I'm very delighted to be part of this initiative.
All right, so we'll kickstart with the customary LinkedIn question so that everyone who's joining us online now gets to know you more beyond the work. So, Shri, what's not on your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I've been in LinkedIn for many years. And what is not in LinkedIn is one of my passion and one of my greatest belief on talent. That is, talent have a lot of dimensions when you hire or retain or develop. And today's talent is looked at as intangible assets. And one of the intangible assets is what you call it as the astrological data of an individual. Like you have a lot of hard data like medical records, biometric, and soft data like interview or LinkedIn profile or psychometric test. Or another soft data is really looking at horoscope of the individual, understand, predict, and control the behavior and performance of the individual. Traditionally, I'm trained in that, and I come from that community of astrologers. So that's I not mentioned in LinkedIn.
Oh,
And
interesting.
there may be a day if I can make some breakthrough in that analytics, I'll definitely post some of the accomplishments in LinkedIn.
That's great. And thank you for that, as it is a great segue into my next question. Shri, what are the latest recruitment trends that you are seeing which are shaping the future of work today?
Absolutely. So if you really look at not only recruitment, the entire talent value chain, the employee experience management is the key theme. So similarly, when it comes to the candidate experience management is the theme. A lot of organizations have established a strong correlation between employee experience and customer experience, thus driving greater economic value for the organization. So if you ask me, the one and the biggest trend is defining employee experience, and employee experience can be defined differently by different companies. And how do you provide that exceptional employee experience using digital technologies and data? And in this employee experience, it's one of the biggest thing is how do you really personalize that experience? You are different, I am different, and each human being or each employee or each candidate is different. How do you really personalize that experience is going to be a biggest theme, and a lot of good initiatives organizations are driving it, including UI also in forefront of that initiative.
That's an interesting point around analytics tree. I would like to know what are few of the new age things that could help enhance the employee experience according to you.
Yeah. So the first one is we start with a promise to our employees or a commitment to employees. And we have a very bold commitment or a promise to employees. We call it as exceptional EY experience. If you really look at the many literature in EY, we call it the exceptional EY experience. We have a narrative called whenever you join, however long you stay, the exceptional EY experience will be lifetime. So that's a commitment we are giving to our candidates, and that's a commitment we are giving to our employees. And when you give that commitment of exceptional EY experience, the most important thing is how do you personalize it? And we believe that that is employees to build it. We call it as yours to build it. I cannot build that experience for you as an employer. What, as a talent leader, as an employer, I can create the entire infrastructure, the culture, the systems, the process, the tools, the methodology for a candidate or employee to build. And I call it as these are infrastructure and these are the assets. And employees needs to use this asset to build the career or the experience which they want. So in that way, it is yours to build it. So if you double click yours to build it, the three things I experienced in the last 10 months in EY, and I joined 10 months back. The first one is your voice will be heard. And many organizations found it very difficult to give a platform for employees to raise their concerns or voice. So even I have seen, when I interviewed many candidates say that I am leaving this organization because my voice is no more heard. So one of our commitment to our candidates and employees is your voice will be heard. And I'll talk little later what are the platforms we have built to hear that voice. The second one is you can make a difference. Why I left my previous organization, I could not make a difference anymore. When I interview many candidates, I ask them why you are leaving. They say, I'm not able to make a difference. So our promise is, yes, you can make a difference to us and for yourself. And the last one, we call it as be who you are. And we want every employee whom we hire comfort in their skin. You don't worry about your color, the height, weight, your beliefs, your values, your religion, your educational background. Each employee is unique, and we want to ensure that they are very comfortable in their skin. We call it as be who you are. So this is the differentiator we are bringing in terms of exceptional UI experience. And as I mentioned, the exceptional UI experience is provided through digital technologies like social. We use LinkedIn a lot in terms of getting the message to our community. And we also create communities in LinkedIn, and we share our achievements, our aspirations through this platform. So social is a technology, we use it heavily as part of the digital. The next one is the mobile. We are moving many of our talent technology on mobile, so that that's where people, whether it's a learning content or we have eWay badges we are going to move into, or your employee lifecycle experience like leave application or managing the learning content, everything in the mobile. The next one is the latest, the AI and the ML, the chatbots. All this is what we are stitching together beautifully to provide that exceptional employee experience powered by people insight. I call it as data or workforce analytics. That's what we are doing it.
I love the point when you mentioned employees having a voice in the organization, making a difference, and having diversity in thoughts, making it a truly multi-generational workforce. So what are your thoughts on setting newer benchmarks around diversity, inclusion, and belonging, Sri?
Yeah. So I'll start with the first one on employee listening. You alluded that your voice will be heard. So we have a very comprehensive employee listening platform. We do employee pulse survey every year, and very seriously. And these are not done for the sake of it. In fact, every partner or every counselor, one of the KPI which we hold them accountable is the employee pulse survey results. We want positive and favorable results where employees should feel that they can make a difference and they are learning, they are contributing, and their experience is very positive. The second one is we do culture survey. We strongly believe today the leadership and culture are unique attribute of an organization, and they are the intangible which drive tangible value to the organization. We do culture survey. We just concluded our culture survey and result is there. Now we are going to initiate a lot of programs around how can we ensure that our culture is healthy and it remains healthy, and we identify initiatives to make it a delta when we do the survey next year. The third one, we recently experimented a mood tracker where employee can go on a monthly basis and select a face which he or she represent. It can be a red angry face or a green smiling face with a different scale in between. Yeah. And he or she can put some content why he or she is happy or unhappy, and we will seriously analyze that data. And then we also have social listening like LinkedIn or Glassdoor or any other social media will listen. So we are integrating all these listening tools to create insight and on an agile way. Don't wait for the annual pulse survey result to come and participate and act. We want to ensure that we listen to people on a real time and analyze. So that's on employee listening. And it's a great initiative. I never seen in my 27 years any company doing such a comprehensive employee listening platform and programs. Then coming back into diversity and inclusion, you are right. I strongly believe, and EY also is a great employer who drives a lot of diversity and inclusion. And starting with diversity, and diversity is basically you monitor, do you have all kinds of diversity in the organization, starting with the gender. We have 46% gender diversity, women employees 46%. And last year we hired 49% of employees in the gender diversity, women employees we hired. And it's not only hiring, we also closely monitor the entire life cycle, uh, the promotions, the transfers. We also recently introduced pay parity in EYGDS program. So we constantly ensure that the entire life cycle, it's not only hiring, we maintain certain statistics and KPI. For me, that is the diversity profile. Beyond gender, we also focus on LGBT, transgender, then differently abled people. In fact, recently I hired 4 to 5 people in this category in talent space. And I want them to experiment how it takes to work in such an organization, take their feedback, and change systems and process culture to attract a larger base. And not only we are not only hired in talent, we hired at the enterprise level, including we have a very signature program on cognitive disability. And we are investing a lot on neuro-linguistic leadership program to really attract, onboard, train, and make these people perform and feel at home. So we have a neuro-linguistic program for cognitive disability. So beyond gender, the all types of diversity is what we nurture as part of the diversity initiative. Then inclusion, it is not only having these people in the organization and ensure that they represent in all job family and entire hierarchy of the organization, not only at the base of the pyramid, top of the pyramid, but how do you ensure that these people have seat at the table and they contribute and the diversity attributes and traits are leveraged. For example, when we look at differently abled or disabled people, we normally look at disability. Even in performance management, we focus on disability, isn't it? You don't have the skills, you don't have this competency. That's what we do in performance management. But we always believe focus on people's ability, the strength, not on the weakness or developmental opportunity. So a lot of work we are doing around the concept of inclusion beyond diversity. The next one, I never seen any organization. My journey last 10 months has been a very delightful. And one of the main reason is a focus on belonging, sense of belonging, we call it. The sense of belonging I can experience in my career so far. I feel I belong to EY and EY belong to me. That's an emotional connect. So I have done a lot of research and EY also done a lot of research. Once you get into state of sense of belonging, it's not only employee engagement and happiness goes up, but also it have a tangible business benefits. For example, an organization with a greater sense of belonging perform 1.4 times than other organization in terms of revenue, customer satisfaction, and margins and everything. So we heavily focus on belonging as a culture, belonging as an attribute, and that's what we are recognized and rewarded. In fact, UI consult a lot of clients. How do you move from diversity to inclusion to sense of belonging? And it's a cultural attribute, it's a leadership competency.
Clearly, EY is reimagining the talent space. I want to bring gig economy into perspective now, Shri. So, how are you integrating that into the workspace now?
So that's a great opportunity. I have done research over the last 7 years on gig economy. And EY, one of the reasons I joined EY is EY is a strong believer of leveraging gig economy. And we have a program called a Gig Now. Okay. And we are really leveraging the freelancing economy and freelancing workers. And today, if you really look at the contract employees or contingent labor or casual employment or whatever, or part-time employment is moving towards the gig. So in our Gig Now platform, in fact, we are collaborating with the LinkedIn and we source a lot of freelancers and contingent labor through LinkedIn. And we onboard them in Gig Now and we provide a career opportunity where people can work on premise in our office or off premise. And we have seen huge success so far. Thousands of people globally EY engages as a freelancer in this platform. In EY GDS, where I represent, also we implemented this almost 18 months back. Now we have really strengthened that organization. And 2-3 things we are doing it. One is really we are doing a lot of awareness program into the community, saying that freelancing is a career option. And we are also partnering with certain universities, training college students how to become a gig employee or a freelancing employee in the coming years. They may not find an opportunity like they used to get it many years back. Campus placements. Another opportunity is they need to be ready as a freelancer. So we are teaching and coaching students how to become a freelancer. And it's a great program, and I will continue to share our success stories. And I believe it is not only freelancers on premise and off premise, but we can also enable people to work from home, and they can perform certain tasks, and they get paid based on task. And Microsoft is a pioneer in microservice architecture, and we believe the microservice architecture against the monolithic platforms will disaggregate jobs. For example, if you look at a job of a recruiter, the job description are monolithic. You'll get a 2-page description of a recruiter, starting with you have to build a brand, you have to source, you have to screen. But what we believe is this monolithic job description can be broken down into simple tasks, like branding is a task, sourcing is a task, screening is a task, selection is a task, offering is a task, onboarding is a task. So once you disaggregate the job description into task, then I can crowdsource this task and assemble it back as a meaningful outcome. So that's a lot of interesting stuff. I think freelancing economy has only touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to white collar job, and a lot can be done in that area.
Shri, you spoke about culture. I know EY is doing some really phenomenal work around internal recruiting, investing in their own people and leadership. Would you be able to share some insights around that?
Yeah, it's a great question. If you relook at any organization, all this organization, the key differentiator is the leadership. And EY is a lab in leadership. And in my last 10 months, I had a great experience on leadership. So how we look at leadership, we define in today's digital era, the leaders need to be transformative, not transactional. So we have recently launched a transformative leadership competency model, which the definition of transformative leadership, the core of the transformative leadership is the purpose. We want our leaders to have clarity in purpose, and we want our leaders to help our employees to define their purpose and align with organizational purpose. Because our organizational purpose is building a better working world, is our organizational purpose. So first one is the core of every leadership transformation is the purpose. The second one, we call it as better me. Every leader first need to take care of himself or herself before you take care of the team or organization. So we have a competency model called better me, where we define things like agile mindset. Every leader should have an agile mindset. The second one is we want leaders to focus on wellness. And a lot of research shows at the age of 40 to 50 is where the leadership peaks in terms of performance and contribution. I've seen in my own career, my ex-colleagues getting into health issues at that age and really getting not only troubled on their health, also their contribution come down. So we want every leader in EY to take care of their wellness. The third one, we heavily focus on what I call it as every leader should have curiosity. We stop asking questions. We used to ask questions when we were children, like why sky is blue, ocean is blue. But we stopped all these questions. But we want the leaders to have curiosity. That's called a better me. Similarly, after you are better leader, better us. How can you build a better team? Then better business and better working world. That's a competency model. I'm not getting into details. But one thing I want to highlight, the transformational leadership or a transformative leadership is all about lead to win. The transactional leadership is all about lead not to lose. So it's a big difference between lead to win and lead not to lose. Lead to win is led with a purpose and passion and action. Lead not to lose is driven by business problems like margin improvements, contracts are getting terminated, I'm not growing the revenue. That create a fear in leaders. And the business problems and fear make a leader reactive. So we believe in lead to win, not lead not to lose.
So in this journey of talent transformation, what are your recommendations to people who are listening to us online today on how they can reimagine the talent industry?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost thing is run talent like a business function. In fact, talent leaders today have a seat at the table. In fact, my boss, who's Srini Rao, who's the global delivery leader, he always say, Sri, not only you have a seat at the table, that seat is 2 inches taller than other function. That means that's the importance of that function in an organization. So when you have a seat at the table, you need to ascribe the role. of a business leader wearing a talent hat. That's one of the things I strongly advise. The second one is please leverage intangible asset of a talent function like leadership, culture, experience, skills, will, employee engagement. These are intangible and it's very difficult to measure in an Excel sheet. I can do surveys, I can do text analysis and everything. Today, the 80% of the valuation of an organization is driven by intangible assets. As a good talent leader, please understand that intangible asset value proposition and continue to impact, measure, and improve that. That's the second one. The third one is today you need to personalize employee experience, treat every human being with utmost respect, utmost care, and really ensure that the differentiation come from diversity and appreciate that differentiation coming from diversity and allow people to personalize their career and own their career is one thing we need to do. The last one, not the least one, the talent today is evolving very fast with the digital technology and data science. Understand the opportunities to leverage data science and digital technologies and leverage it for the benefit of employee experience and driving economics for the business.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was such a great insight into what EY is doing and such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, LinkedIn.